Hey guys, welcome back to Everything Plants. 3 weeks ago I made a how to propagate a Hoya plant. I placed it in some water. It does have some earth medicine in there. So today I'm going to show you how to successfully or safely transition a Hoya plant from water into soil. The surprising thing about this project is this is probably my fastest rooted Hoya that I've ever done. I don't know if it's due to the earth medicine or if it's due to where it was placed or if it's just the nature of this regular Hoya Carnosa, but let's take it out. They all have pretty decent roots. It's crazy how much or how fast these rooted. Okay, so I'm just gonna toss them down here. This looks like it's the only one that really, it's got like a tiny little root. The leaf, a little flimsy. You can see they all have decent roots on them. These are definitely ready for planting in soil. So it's pretty crazy. This is just 3 weeks. Yeah, so okay, let's take all these cuttings and we will size them up in this pot here and put some soil in. So I'm just going to show here quickly this kind of lower portion of the stem. It may grow roots down the road, but just to accommodate like a smaller pot, you can see obviously the roots have grown right there. So I'm just going to cut off the lower stem. Some people might say not to do that, but this is what I'm going to do for this plant. So just frees up a little bit more room because this stem was a bit longer on the bottom there. You're not going to get any new growth from the cut end of the stem. You're going to see a kind of like a little bump eventually pop out from this leaf node, and that's where the new, I guess, vine is going to sprout from. So whenever I plant these Hoya single leaf cuttings, I plant them a little bit lower in the pot. So you want this leaf node or these set of leaves basically just at the top of the soil line, because eventually, like I said, it's going to push out some new growth from this leaf node and it's going to continue to vine. So you don't want this sticking out like this, because once it starts to grow, it's going to get really droopy. So plant these single leaf cuttings lower in the pot. So I'm just tossing in some of the longer stemmed ones that can kind of seat themselves at the bottom of the pot. I'm going to fill it with a little bit of soil, and then I'm going to stick in some of these shorter stemmed ones just so that they can be placed in the appropriate spot once I add some soil. So I might add this one here too, just like that. Maybe this one here as well. Let's move these to the side. So the soil that I'm using for this is just a Pro Mix tropical plant mix with some extra added perlite. Normally I would add some orchid bark in there as well, but I don't have any right now. So I'm just going to dump this in. Just about maybe like inch from the bottom, and then I can add these other pieces, just kind of lay them in the soil, and then you can top fill or backfill with some soil afterwards once you got them kind of placed in the right spot. So of course you want the roots below the soil line and have that leaf node just kind of at the top of the soil. This guy I'm going to plant in here anyways. It's got just got the tiny little root, but I'm just going to stick it in the middle, hope for the best, hope it survives, and then just simply fill in the soil. And you can adjust the plants as you go along here. Doesn't have to be pretty. I'm just dumping all the soil in. You can lightly pack it down, but typically what I do is just kind of shake the pot a little bit, and it helps seat the soil around the roots and the stems. So now I'm just going to clean the leaves off, just something like that. And again, I might adjust it a little bit as I go. Some of these are sticking out a little bit further, like this one here. Whatever, it's not bad, but you can see all of the cuttings are mainly at the top of the soil, maybe even a little bit below, and that should be okay. They'll eventually pop out with some new growth. This guy is sticking out a little bit, but that's okay. It'll be fine. Now that the leaves are cleaned off, probably the most important thing from transitioning a plant from water to soil is to make sure that the soil doesn't dry out for about 2 weeks or so. The roots are accustomed to this kind of a wet environment, so they're not searching out for water or nutrients or anything. It is readily available in this container, so just make sure that you keep your soil relatively damp, wet for about 2 weeks, and then just kind of slowly cut back on the water. So I'm going to just lightly water with this watering can, just let that settle a little bit. And then I'm actually going to dump in this earth medicine propagation water, as this is what the plant has been accustomed to for the last 3 weeks. So it's going to continue to provide some of these nutrients and hopefully not send this plant into transition shock. So I'm just going to kind of pour it over the top. I don't know if this is absolutely necessary or not. I'm just using what I think is probably the best method of transitioning. So I'm just going to use this earth medicine water, and we'll let that soak through. You can see it's draining through already. So after that, I'm just going to put this in kind of a bright sunny area. And I think I'm actually going to be giving this plant away to a family member, my mother. I think she said she wanted some of these Hoya cuttings. So I'm going to set this aside for her in a bright sunny spot and let it transition into soil here over the next couple weeks. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a pretty easy method. If you want to go check out the Hoya propagation video, I should have said that earlier, but I'll leave it up in the top here if you want to go see how to propagate a Hoya. The hardest part for the plant is going into soil, especially into like a dry soil and having to search out for that water. Those roots will dry up pretty fast. So just make sure it's in a bright sunny spot. Make sure the soil stays wet for a few weeks. So that's me pretty much it for this video. Just give it some more water, just letting it drain through. So if you have any comments or questions about anything I've done in this video, please leave it down below in the comment section. Thanks for watching this video. I appreciate all the support. Take care, everyone. Bye.